Hi, welcome back to Novel Nomad and welcome to Novel Nomad for 2018. Yes, I've taken a short break over the Christmas period. I did actually have a Christmas video to post. I just had such crappy internet over the Christmas period. I never got it up in time. But there's always this year, so I can just refilm that video for this year and save all that lovely taggy chat for this year's Christmas. But in the meantime, I wanted to start the year out not with a wrap up of the last year, but a TBR coming up into the new year because I'm excited for the books I get to read in the coming year. This TBR in particular is going to be none other than the Adelaide Writers Week TBR. Now, Adelaide Writers Week is a festival that is usually held in very early March, possibly late February, early March, during the Adelaide Festival period, and that is when we have all these amazing famous authors that come to Adelaide for a free author and bookish event that's held in the city, and you get to not only listen to authors for about an hour and interact with them with Q&A, but also get them to sign your books. And of course it is made even more enjoyable if you've read the books before you actually see the event. And so I have gone through the list. Unfortunately, I don't have the lovely brochure yet. It is not yet available, but if you go onto the website, which I'll leave down below and up here, if you go into the website, you can see the authors that will be coming. Hopefully, sometimes they cancel last minute, but hopefully will be coming for 2018. First are the books that I've already read, but I definitely want to see the authors because I loved these books, and that is none other than Louise Penny, who wrote the Among Mash crime novel series. Now, I've only read Still Life. I read this with the lovely Kate Howe, which I'll also link below. She is my mystery buddy read companion, and it is absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed the writing in this. I have to say the mystery wasn't as compelling, and I think I'd read a very compelling mystery before this one, so the crime itself did fall a bit dull, but the characters and how well it was written was absolutely beautiful. So I'm looking forward to getting her to sign this, and I think I might start getting into more of the series. Next is Sara Woodman. Yes, she wrote The Tin Man, and I think When God Was a Rabbit, and another one, I think A Year of Marvellous Ways or something like that. But this book would probably be one of my favourite books of 2017. For such a small book, it packs such an emotional punch, and the characters are still very much with me. It follows Ellis as he recovers from losing not only his wife but his best friend in a car accident, and it is absolutely beautiful. So I cannot wait to meet Sara Woodman and tell her how much I loved this book and how important it was for me to read that, especially during 2017. Now, on to the books that I haven't read but are very high on my TBR because I have about a month and a half to get through them all, and some of them are a little bit chunky, so definitely want to get started on these. If you have read any of these books, let me put a disclaimer first, please tell me your thoughts down below. Which one should I read first? Where should I start? First, we have an Australian author called Sophie Laguna. This one won the Miles Franklin Prize, which is actually a very prestigious Australian literary prize, but Sophie Laguna's The Eye of the Sheep is the one I picked up. She's just released her second book, The Choke, but The Eye of the Sheep is the one I had on my shelf, and it's the one that I definitely want to get to. It follows a young boy who has autism, and he's in rural Australia, and his mum, who's always been his guide, passes away, and it's how he and his father copes with the loss of their mother and wife. Next is Storyland by Catherine McKinnon, another great Australian author, and can I just say, let's have a minute to just utterly adore this cover. Just, it's beautiful, even with the little boy, the boat, the pelican, all the little dragonflies. It is a beautiful cover, and Storyland itself has a very intriguing premise. It follows 5 stories surrounding the land itself rather than just the stories and the characters. The land becomes a character, so I'm highly intrigued to see where Catherine McKinnon goes with this one. Next is Catherine Chidley's The Wish Child, set in Berlin during, I think, 1939. I think it's 1939, and it follows 2 children as they have very different upbringings in Berlin, but they manage to find their way together in an abandoned cinema, especially going through the aftermath of the war and how the children survive and manage to support each other through that. So I'm very excited. Another one added to my World War II reading list. Now we have the chunkiest book on the list, and that is the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. Yes, she is coming to Adelaide Writers Week, and she is the writer of Laguna, The Flight Behaviour, but Poisonwood Bible I think is her most well-known work, and it has been on my shelf. It was one recommended to me by my grandpa, and he absolutely adored this book, and I think I really want to read it just for a personal connection, but as well to be able to read this book and meet Barbara Kingsolver, especially with their personal background. I think it'll be even more special. So it follows a Baptist who goes into the Congo, I believe, in the late 1950s, and it's told from his wife and daughter's perspective as he takes his family with him. And being an era of great upheaval as the 1900s were, this is bound to be absolutely amazing, and especially dealing with issues of colonization, and especially being during the late era of the colonies when many of the colonies were separating from the British Empire, to see where that power struggle occurs, and within religion and culture and folklore. And I hope I'm not building this up too much, but I really hope it will be fantastic. This one here, a very intriguing cover, is actually a advanced copy I got from my work, and it is of Taboo by Kim Scott. So I was actually recommended this book by Michaela, the Crazy Book Lady, on Instagram. I will leave a link to her down below if you want to check out her lovely Instagram pictures. But she definitely put me on the track of this one, and I definitely want to read more native Australian titles. And I think what interested me about this one is the protagonist is actually female. Her name is Tilly Coleman, and she is sent into a very mysterious situation, and from all reports the writing is absolutely beautiful. The last book on the list is actually a non-fiction book, and that is The Trauma Cleaner by Sara Woodman. Now, if you are unaware, a trauma cleaner is someone who cleans up the places of the dead. So if someone's died and all the things that are left over within the house or apartment are no longer needed or collected by the recipients of the will, or if there's been a murder scene, things like that, a trauma cleaner is then called, and they are required to clean away all the excess things that are left behind by the dead. And that just sounds incredibly fascinating as a premise itself. So Sara Woodman documents the life of Sandra Pankhurst, who has had many jobs, but her current job is a trauma cleaner, and from all reports this is an absolutely fascinating book. And it's just interesting to note that you'd never think about these things, those kind of things that are left behind, and to have actually the need for a trauma cleaner is very significant, I think. So I think it'll be a really interesting read. Alright, these are the lovely books that I will be reading in lead up to Adelaide Writers Week. If you are going to Writers Week, please tell me down below the authors you are looking forward to. But please let me know, out of the books that I haven't read, which one would you recommend me starting on? Choices. So I'll see you all next time. Bye!